What's up, AfterBuzzers? Welcome to the series premiere of Married at First Sight, Happily Ever After. Yes, the series premiere, Room for Improvement. We're getting to check in with our couples. The couples are going to go on a nice little retreat, and Bobby and Danielle are getting on everyone's nerves. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey. Aww, it's so cute.
So sweet.
Yes. Welcome to the series premiere, the after show for Married at First Sight, Happily Ever After. You guys, we checked in with our couples. We saw them go on a nice retreat. We're going to get into some very special news and gossip and also letting you know where we rate the couples in their relationship. But first, before we get into all that, let me introduce my panelists. Introduce yourselves, panelists.
Hey guys, I am Juliet and I'm super happy to be here with you guys tonight.
Hey guys, I'm your normal house cat, Ollie Dreamer, and I'm super excited to be here as well.
Meow. And then I'm Felicia Michelle. I didn't introduce myself. And I'm happy to be here as well, but I'm not a cat. I'm jealous. I should have stole your ears.
You should have. You can still steal them.
So you guys, this is the series premiere of this show. What would you guys initially think of this episode?
I think they did. I really enjoyed this episode, mainly because in terms of this franchise, I followed the first season at Married at First Sight, but I haven't really followed since. And I think they did a really great job at, introducing this as a new series. And even if you're just stepping in like I am, or if you haven't seen anything, you kind of get to fall in love with these characters, or at least want to follow their journey. So I think they did a great job setting everything up.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the same boat as Juliet, because I'm like, this is totally foreign to me, and this concept of just marrying someone
a stranger
right off the bat, I'm like, what? Why would you do this? This is crazy, but it makes amazing reality television. And also, I wonder, okay, maybe I would do this. I just got to see that check first. You know what I'm saying? So
listen,
give me that check. I need to look. But it just makes you think there are people out here that are really doing this. I mean, we're seeing it on the TV. It's just this is a wild TV show, already.
It really is. So I am like a super Married at First Sight fan. Almost slightly was entertain the idea, maybe if an expert can match you, why couldn't it work? But I've watched 7 seasons of this show, and I know that it doesn't, because I think it started off by saying there's 5 out of 21 couples that we have matched that are still together this day. One of those is actually a day 1, season 1 couple. Actually, 2 of those are it's Anthony and I don't remember her name, but she's blonde and super cute. And then it was Dave and Jamie, yes, because she actually hosts the after shows for Married at First Sight. She's a host and she hosts after shows because she's been through the experience. She knows better than anyone. So those are the 2 other couples that we don't see on here that are still together. But Jamie and Doug actually do have children together. So they've been, they're mommy and daddy now too. So the 3 couples that we have are most recently Bobby and Danielle, who are on season 7. We just wrapped that up last week, and they're already pregnant. Shawniece and Jeff T, they're from season 6, and been married for 1 year. And Anthony and Ashley, who are my personal favorites, I loved their season. They were on season 5, and so they've been married for about 2 years now, and they're all expecting their first child together. Okay, so we got to check in, and we saw our 3 experts, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Jessica, and then Pastor Cal, split off and go visit the couples in their homes and catch up with them. When they caught up with Bobby and Danielle, I just want to ask you guys, since you guys are new and into the Married at First Sight franchise, did you guys kind of feel like maybe when they were speaking to Dr. Cal, there was a slight veil over them?
Maybe a little disconnect. It's true that I think that although, only 6 months ago they were filming, there has been a period where they have not been filming. So I think those might be the first few scenes that we're seeing, and just getting into that groove must be, a little hard.
I don't think they ever lost the groove because they've been married for 5 months. I think she's about 3 months pregnant when they first started filming this. I think maybe they had a month, maybe a month off, if that, or 2 or 3 months, not a whole lot of time. I mean, that's enough time to get pregnant, enough time to, get together and do that. So when we saw Bobby and Danielle in their home, Pastor Cal's there, and she's like, how do you think Pastor Cal likes his steak? She's like, I can't imagine anyone else who would want their steak other than medium. I was just like, here we go. They're, from my experience in watching Married at First Sight, they can be a little bit judgmental. So we kind of saw that as they were, we saw that kind of in the episode a little bit. But I enjoyed their visit. Did you think that Pastor Cal was giving them sound advice about them not having argued so far?
Yeah, it was an interesting thing because it's weird to be saying that it's a good thing to argument, but that's kind of what we learned, right? And that he wanted to push them in a way, but he also doesn't want them to have a fight just for the sake for having a fight. So we just want to make sure that this communication is really truly happening, and I don't know that it is. What do you think, Ollie?
Oh my God, listen. I've been trying to hold this in. They just seem like the most unrealistic couple in my opinion. I know they just got married and everything, but to have like no problems, to have a perfect marriage, I'm not buying it personally. And I totally understand where he's coming from. It's like, wait, you're not arguing? They haven't had an argument in like 6 months. How does this, like, there's no conflict at all. And it just baffles me. So I'm wondering if they're just saving face for the camera. Mm-hmm. I want to know what that 1 month when they were off. I want to know what happened with that month.
They said that they had disagreements, but no arguments. So I don't know. I kind of buy it. I feel like some people are really good at just communicating and don't raise their voices and things of that nature, but it's just not for everyone.
I agree with Pastor Cal that it's too good to be true. It's kind of like too good to be true with them. Not because people can't get along, not because you can't naturally connect with somebody, but because they kind of flip-flop. So at one point they told Pastor Cal, no, we haven't gotten into any arguments at all. Then later on in the episode, Bobby said in the confessional, we've had disagreements, we haven't had any arguments. So maybe the way that they define arguments is different than the way we define arguments. But just as somebody who watched them throughout their season of Married at First Sight, they didn't have any of the same milestones of like tension or anything that we saw like Ashley and Anthony go through, or indefinitely Shawniece and Jeff T.
Yeah.
Like in comparison, it's kind of like almost like they're playing house, and it's very
flat in a way.
Yes.
What I really enjoyed was when the experts said that, the reason why it's important to be having these conversations is that relationships dynamics will be changing over time. So although that you are extremely happy right now and we hope this will last, again, this dynamic will maybe change. So we want to make sure these conversations are happening. That way you kind of can evolve as these dynamics evolve.
Especially with a baby coming into your life after, think about it. 6 months ago, you were single without the idea of a child even being in the world anytime soon, and both of them said they wanted to wait some years until they had a baby. But here you are 6 months later, you're married and you're expecting. That's a huge life shift, and I don't understand how you're not shooketh to your core. But hey, that's just me. We saw Dr. Pepper at Anthony and Ashley's house, and she saw the sonogram and the baby and inquired about the sex. But Anthony said he does not want to know. Did you think that was kind of strange? Because Ashley knows already.
Right. I don't think that's strange because, like, to each their own. What I thought was strange is that I feel that in a couple, if one person wants to know and one does not want to know, then you make a mutual decision to be on the same page. I find that strange that one partner is aware and the other one isn't. It just kind of seems that they're not. Obviously they're in this together, but there's just that disconnect. I wouldn't really want that.
Yeah, and there's already that disconnect with them wanting, I forget which one it was, who Ashley wanted to start the family soon, whereas Anthony didn't.
Oh, immediately.
But obviously they're 2 years in and they have the baby on the way. And also, I don't know if it's just me, but like I don't know. I feel like gender reveals aren't like, I don't know. That's just the feminist in me talking like, I just love your baby. It doesn't matter about the gender, but that's just me. I'm sorry. Or I just had to say that.
No, it's kind of it's getting a little ridiculous. It's definitely getting out of hand. Yeah. It could be creative and fun, but it's going a little far in some things. However, I won't speak on that because my over the top self will probably have a gender reveal or something. But it's just like a cake, like just cut into a cake. Like why are we like throwing balloons or confetti or like polluting the air with like clouds of smoke? But anyway. It seemed like Ashley was a bit annoyed. Did you pick that up? Like she kind of has some annoyance with Anthony, and I don't know if I should like subscribe those feelings to her being pregnant and annoyed, or that's the nature of their relationship.
Are you saying that she was annoyed with the situation, or just annoyed in general with the relationship?
She seems annoyed
just with him.
with Anthony, and in particular the fact that he doesn't want to have sex with the baby, and she does, because like I guess in a way he's like, oh, I don't want to know, I'm excited and it's so great, and she's like, just get it over with. And now she maybe you want to tell something and you're very excited and you can't, you have to hold it in. It's like I have to hold my excitement in because of you.
Right. Well, she was saying that she was still telling people, and so not only does she know, people in their circle know, and they know not to tell the baby father, which I don't know. Yeah, I think
it just seems like he's gonna find out. Maybe he's gonna find out somehow.
On September 1st, is the date.
Which he miscalculated. He thought it would be the 6th month. He's like, I miscalculated. It's actually the 5th month. So good for Ashley. She doesn't have to wait an entire extra month now to tell her husband what the sex of her baby was. And also, what was interesting about them is that they talked a lot about their communication and how she feels like Anthony doesn't really communicate with her, and also that they had the rocky period after filming was over. Like after the Married at First Sight cameras leave, they're there for 8 weeks documenting people, and then after that 8 weeks, the experts leave, the cameras leave.
And stuff gets real.
And stuff gets, and you watch these episodes. So it's a lot of times like how sometimes people do reality TV, we can see fights get sparked back up on social media because they're watching these episodes and didn't know what was said in confessional, or maybe how someone felt and they dive deep into something, or maybe a reaction they didn't notice, or body language that they didn't see before. And now watching yourself is totally different than being in the experience.
And at the end of the day, it's a reality television show, and I think producers can like kind of paint the picture, even I watched reality television back in the day so hard, so I know that there can be, not all the time, but sometimes you're feeding a storyline, to these viewers. So
very true. I think maybe she's pregnant. It takes a big toll on your body, so maybe that must annoy her in some way. But I really enjoyed the conversation that they were having about just their communication in general and how they don't communicate well, and how it was just great to see the both point of views, because you have Anthony who was saying, I want all the answers. Why am I going to waste your time and just give you part of the answers? And she just wants to have a conversation. And do you guys understand where Anthony's coming from? Are you more on Ashley's side?
I just think, it's a good point you bring up, but I think that, I know I'm not answering the question, but I think that this particular problem, the situation that they're both in, is very realistic. So I think that they're both like my favorite couple. So I think I can see both sides to it, being kind of a little introverted, how like some things, like it just that goes back to the whole thing about him not wanting to know the sex and them not communicating. So that's just caused such a rift in their relationship already. So I think that I think they'll get through with it. I don't know.
I don't see them I don't see them breaking up. It's actually really refreshing to watch them in season 5 being together and choosing to stay together on decision day, and then to see them now. I can see a lot of growth in them as a couple, and they're a lot more connected with each other. They're 2 years in. But to answer your question, I think that she just give the information. She just wants to know what you know so that you can be on the same page. That's all it kind of seems like to me. It doesn't seem like, I understand he's like, I don't want to tell you all the information until I have everything, because it's just going to be more questions. So maybe his thing is, I don't want her to ask me any questions I don't know the answer to, and not so much that I don't want to give you information that I don't know everything yet, right. And she just wants to be in the know. So I'm team Ashley on this one. Yeah. And then our most probably controversial, and it kind of hurts my heart to see what's going on with them, is Shawniece and Jeff T. She's currently real pregnant. Like, she's like belly, linea, whatever that line is on your stomach. And she's like all the way there, and they're in such a tough spot in their relationship. Like, we found out, which I was confused. Okay, did y'all pick up on this? When they were talking to Dr. Jessica, they said, well, why don't you have your rings on? We don't have our rings on because we took a break from each other for 2 or 3 weeks. And then later on, during at the couples retreat, Shawniece said, "Oh, it was a couple months." Mm-hmm. So it's just like, is it 2 or 3 weeks or a couple months?
So I think they were separated for a couple months, and they did not speak at all for 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So no communication. He obviously was out in the house, and then after that period, that's when she was like, "Let's get the rings off."
And I'm confused because he said he was, quote, doing him.
So that automatically, I think that like he was, is it cheating? I don't know. I think he was doing him. Like, he was probably, with other people. Like, I wouldn't put it past him, honestly. He's just not being like,
I wanted to kill him for her, okay? When he said I was doing me, I was thinking there is a better way you could have said this on national television where my mom and like my family was going to watch this. Like, you could have said this in a better way. It sounds like you went off and like went to the club and you left me at home pregnant. But Shawniece didn't seem super upset at him. She seemed more emotional about everything. She's always just way more emotional than Jeff T. He's just very void of emotions, except when he talks about his baby.
Yeah, very true. he kept saying, you know how much I care about the baby, you know how much I care about the baby, and which is so, I mean, this was great. It's going to make him a great father if this early on he's so invested, but it does make me nervous that in terms of the actual relationship, there seems to be that huge disconnect again.
Mm-hmm. I had to cringe too when I was first watching this, just seeing like them getting married the first time. I was like, wow.
Oh,
like,
yeah, he wasn't feeling her.
Yeah, and then she was like, oh, he had a baby face, and I was like, this is so, like, is this gonna be doomed to fail?
It could work though, because Jamie, the very first season, Jamie cried when she saw Doug because she was that unattracted to him, and they are still together to this day. So that might be something that they worked through and they were able to get through, because then they made it work, y'all, because they had a baby, and you got to do things to get a baby. So they found some attraction between each other to make that happen. But Julia, tell us where the AfterBuzz is going to be attracted to more of our amazing content. Do you like that segue?
Yeah, that was cute. Hey, AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there's no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We are asking for you to subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channels, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz TV to continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So don't worry, you don't have to have them. So make sure to hit that like button.
Now.
Did you click it?
Okay, good. For this channel, and check out our other AfterBuzz TV shows, TV YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments below, and we'll make sure to shout you out on air. That way you can be like, hey, Mom, I was on the after show. And for now, just thank you guys for being the amazing fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Yes. I love comments. We have like really the best fans ever. Yeah. Seriously.
We do. But you know who didn't have a good, who didn't have great comments was Sefi, I cannot pronounce his name, sorry.
Jeff T.
Jeff T.
Yeah.
Because that's another point I wanted to bring up, is that he saying one of the reasons he had to walk away is because he had to deal with all this negativity and, you know, social media and things like that. Did you guys buy that?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the Married at First Sight, look, y'all out there, y'all know, I've seen y'all on the show, y'all are crazy sometimes. And last season, there was another participant who made a comment about colorism and him not wanting a wife who was more melanated than him, and he got like death threats. Like it's crazy because people are this series has been on now 7 seasons. People are very dedicated to it. So I totally believed that people were coming at him because people get really passionate about it, because marriage is a very serious issue. And I think that even though we're watching a reality show, we as viewers assume that you are taking this seriously and you are actually giving it the good college try, your best effort. And so when you watch someone who's not giving their best effort or being emotionally unavailable, sometimes like Jeff T can really come off like that. It's aggravating.
So when he was like, walking away from you was a way to protect you, do you buy that?
Yes, because if you're not in a good space, if you're not in a good headspace, you can't be good to anyone else. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? So he's saying that he's like mentally going through, like depressed. Like I can't imagine hundreds of thousands of people who watch this show and then judge me and talk about me and make it a point to contact me to let me know how much they hate me. Like, I mean, the couple comments that I get sometimes here, I'm like, oh, that doesn't matter. But I can't imagine if that was multiplied by more, because the negative always sticks out way more than the positive. So I believe it. But she also said she walked away, and that as a way to protect herself. So maybe we're just seeing two people like running, but they don't have much time to figure that out, because baby girl is on her way. Well, we know she's here now, but she was like the belly, y'all. Did y'all see the belly?
Yeah, I wrote down pregnant AF. So that's, and then she was forgetting like how many months she was, how many weeks she was.
Well, pregnancy brain is like a thing. So the ladies actually got together. You can't talk from the East Coast, right? They got together for the couples retreat, and we're talking in the nail salon about their different symptoms. And Danielle is like being Danielle, and she's like, I can't move, I can't do anything, I lay there. And not that it was hard for me to believe, but Bobby does a lot of the heavy lifting in the relationship anyway, so I kind of wasn't surprised.
Right, and from the flashbacks, they were explaining that this is not, something that's just because she's pregnant, right? Since day one, he used to bring her breakfast. He just catered.
She was getting cinnamon buns in bed and stuff. Like, She was like, he was cleaning up behind her dogs. That's why when Pastor Cal was eating there, I was like, Pastor Cal would not eat at that house because he had a dead duck in his. The house is dirty. I'm sorry, y'all. I would not eat there. You don't bring no potluck from your house. I am good. They got like 5 dogs any given time because she fosters dogs. So that's something about them too. But did the lady seem a little bit annoyed with Danielle? I felt Ashley's vibe was like, girl.
I feel
totally.
like, they were annoyed more so about the fact that she claimed that she hasn't been in arguments because they're like, how's that possible? How are you not getting arguments with your man?
And I do think since the other two couples, they've been together like longer than Danielle, right? And Danielle and Bobby. So I think they kind of like can roll their eyes at the whole like newlywed transition that they're still going through. So maybe that's another reason why they were just kind of like, but I even as a viewer, I was annoyed personally by Danielle and Bobby.
Yeah, but I do have to say, I mean, if what she claims is true, I can't imagine just for months on end, just, she's saying that she's throwing up, then she's sleeping, she's throwing up, she's sleeping. That cannot be fun.
And that, like, it doesn't look like, it doesn't sound fun at all. Like, she's like, I sleep. She's like, it's affecting the intimacy of their relationship.
Yeah, and his sex life is down.
Yeah, but.
And he's like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, is it though?
What did he say? It's a
know.
crap shoot or something that he said. And I was like, dude, just don't use that. Like, that's not the right word you should use there. Like, just don't probably. But even the guys were looking at Bobby like, dude, like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean it's perfect and it's okay? Like, they kind of seemed like fed up with him too. And then we got to the portion of the retreat where the couples were all together and they were told to rate their marriages. And surprise, surprise, who picked 10 and 10? They were a solid 10. Bobby and Eyebrows. They were like, we are a solid 10 unit. And I was like, you guys have got to be kidding me.
As much as that annoyed me, I will say that I think that I appreciate Danielle saying the fact that like, oh, it might change like down the road. So I'm glad that she's acknowledging the fact that like it might not be a 10 forever, for both of them. So that was kind of cool on her part because she kind of annoys me throughout the rest of the episode. But and I forget who said it was the fact that like most successful marriages don't rate themselves as a 10.
Oh, Dr. Jessica was like, the average couple is not going to give themselves a 10. Ashley and Anthony were pretty much on the same page, 9 and 10. That kind of sounded right. Those higher numbers, that made sense. But it was another moment where I feel like Danielle really irritated Ashley. She's like, there's always room for improvement. Like you can't just say 10. Like you can't go up from 10. It can't get better. Like all you're saying is it could get worse. Like, and I thought about, I was like, maybe Ashley has a point. Like you're not even saying like, oh, things can get better. Like this is the best it can be, but it can go down. Yeah. And that's not a positive way to look at it either. And then Jeff T was like, I don't want to do this.
No, but really though.
When he turned around and it was blank, I was like, bruh.
He's like, I'm not. No,
he couldn't put like a 7 down or something.
It's like, I don't want to do this. I think he just didn't want to deal with it. It was true. He knew that whatever he was going to say wouldn't be good. So, but not saying anything at all, it still is worse. So there you go.
I think he was just careful of her feelings. I think maybe he wanted to go low and then he wasn't sure where she was going to be. And right now it's like they're kind of trying to get on the same page and they're not really all the way there. So I understand his hesitation to not do it.
Yeah, it's true. That's a great point.
She's super pregnant. You don't want to piss off no pregnant woman. You never listen. If you see somebody with a belly like that, just yes, ma'am. Yes, anything you say. Yes, whatever you say.
It's disappointing though, because I feel like it was a safe space, because everyone was there, and it just like
but it's and they were saying in general, how can you not compare yourself when you have all these people who are in the same situation as you? They're all pregnant. They all met in the same way you met. You're gonna, you judge, you.
It's human nature.
It's human nature. There you go. Thank you.
To compare and contrast things, like that's literally the logic of our brains.
Yeah, especially when it's right in front of you. Yeah. So I can understand that.
And no one wants me in last place. Like I don't want the worst marriage and my baby's coming first. But I'm excited. Like no, seriously. Like oh my God, my baby's first and my marriage is last. This is terrible. And the things he was saying, it kind of again was like it was like he loved her as a vessel and not so much as a person. Oh. And I'm like, okay, like do you just like my womb? Like is that what it is? Like
from what I gathered from the flashbacks and this this episode, it seems that he likes the idea of marriage, the idea of a companion, and then a baby. So,
I think he loves her, but maybe being in love with loving somebody and being in love with somebody is very different. And a lot of things you can manifest, baby, but you can't manifest a marriage. I'm sorry, it can't happen. Watch Red Table Talk because they'll let you know that you have to do the work.
I think he loves her, but he doesn't necessarily like her. Kind of what you just said, but like.
She challenges him, and that could piss off a lot of people. Let's get into a little news and gossip.
Ooh.
Dun, dun,
I'm
dun.
so excited. AfterBuzz TV news. Well, guys, we have an exciting article that came out in People, so I urge you guys to read more in depth on that. It reveals the sex of not only one, but two of our couples from tonight. And so those are, drum roll please.
Uh-oh.
We are having girls.
Yay! The future is female.
The future is female indeed. So Danielle and Bobby are having a daughter, and Anthony and Ashley are having a daughter as well. So very, very exciting stuff. So they said to People that the day we found out we were having a baby girl was so special, says season 7 star Bergam. Bobby was Bergam is, I'm sorry if I mispronounced it.
Danielle.
Okay, Danielle. That's her last name. Sometimes I'm bad with the pronunciation.
Don't worry about it.
Bobby was just sure it was a boy, and I felt like I knew it was a girl. And having extremely vivid dreams and finding out the gender, it was just what I dreamed. I've always wanted a girl.
Okay.
This girl is crazy. She is crazier than a soup sandwich. Like, did she not sit there and say to him that she wanted a boy? Me and Bobby want a boy. Yeah, we want a boy. Yep, it's a boy. We really want a boy. And then she's like, I always want you. Well, she did say she'd be happy if it had 10 fingers and 10 toes, but I would just be happy if his mama told the truth. Anyway, let's get into. Sorry, go ahead.
No, the soup sandwich, you got me.
She's crazy.
She's crazy.
Let's get into predictions for next week.
Woo! Oh.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
I only like the creepy music during the Halloween season. Any other time, it creeps me. Like,
I like the lights for our iTunes listeners. If you ever want to watch our pretty faces and these cool lights, I would urge you to head on to iTunes after you subscribe, of course.
yes, and 5 stars was 4 stars. Just not enough.
You can't do it. You literally can't press any other number than 5.
Yeah, just
Does
5.
not work.
It doesn't work.
What do you predict? What's predict?
Okay, I'll go first. So for A, which is Anthony and Ashley, I think they're the most stable. So I think they're gonna have it really good this season. I think they have miscommunication, but I don't think they're like in dire need of like any repairing of their relationship because they just seem the most realistic couple to me. S and J for Shawniece and Jeff T. I think they're gonna have a rocky time this season. I think they're doomed to fail, TBH. Like I really think they're doomed to fail. They have like such a horrible dynamic, honestly, just looking on the outside of it. But possibly the baby could save their marriage. Babies sometimes do that, but for better or for worse.
What baby? Until the
That
kid
is
is like
such-
18
that
and it
is-
graduates and then y'all have to get divorced.
Exactly.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is the biggest myth. Listen, when you have a baby, you are sleeping so much less. So you're tired. When you're tired equals what?
no.
You're irritated. You're having to make all these life decisions. Babies test couples. Thinking that they're going to bring you closer together is just such a lie. It's testing
Yes,
you.
and then when it's like crying and screaming and it's like pooping and smelling and stuff, and then you're like, you look just like your dad. Oh my god!
Exactly. And then you're having to decide, what education we're going to give them, religion, and all these
What
values.
books can they read?
Exactly.
When are we gonna buy them a cell phone at 5 or 3? Because
Exactly.
in 2018, like 2-year-olds have cell phones now.
Wear protection. It's not a walk in the park.
Listen, it's not. That is the best advice that I have heard many people give on this. Yes. Shout out to Juliet.
Adopt an animal. Like go to your animal shelter. That's the best kid you can ever have. But finally, Danielle and Bobby, I think they're finally gonna fight. They need to fight. I want them to fight. Not actually like
a fist fight.
No, but they need. I feel like they're just like holding back from one another, and I think that finally like being actually communicative with one another, like really tell each other how they feel, will help them.
Yeah.
You know.
For pure enjoyment and reality purposes, I don't know if it's a prediction, but more so what I would like to see. Yeah, I want to see that fight. I want to see them completely break this facade of, perfect couple and perfect 10. I want there to be just fights and screams and cursing. I want the bleeping to just, how when they do the constant thing, where it's like, I don't even know what they said, but it was just like a bleep, 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 bleep. That's what I want, because I think it'd be the best. But what I think will happen is, prior to getting that big fight, I think that they're going to start getting frustrated with, their cast members, the experts, and people who are urging them to have a fight. Because listen, as of now, they claim to be happy, and everyone around them's telling them, no, but you can't be. You should be fighting. I think that's going to get to them.
My prediction for this, I waited. You can look up. I think it's about 7. I'm gonna say I waited 16 episodes for Danielle and Bobby to keep it real with me, and I didn't get it all last season. So no, I don't see that realistically happening. Just knowing their personalities, and she's very stonewall, like very much a stonewall, and very much not expressive, which has been a problem in their relationship. I think that maybe I'll see Bobby's frustration before I see Danielle's. But remember, in the preview, somebody was like, who's using condoms? Your husband has condoms to have sex with another woman. And I don't want it to be Jeff T, but I think it's Jeff T. They took that break.
It's Jeff T.
I'm just hoping that their labor experience, which you're going to get to see, I believe, next week. The thing is, like, their dynamic when they're enjoying each other is really fun to watch. So that makes me want to root for their relationship. Plus, I'm just rooting because they're having a baby too. But I think that experience is going to bring them together. We're going to see a lot more of that next week. And I think that Ashley and Anthony have very minute issues that the experts can really help them with, because this is a big transition in their relationships, having a kid after being married at first sight. Right. So I'm hoping that, and there wasn't a lot of expert involvement in this past season of the show. So I'm hoping that for this series, the experts are really there and we can see them more, because I feel like you learn as a viewer when you watch experts talk about relationship. I need to learn from someone else, because I don't want to learn on my own,
I think that's what I enjoyed a lot, especially of that, that why it's important to communicate, and, different points of views of how we communicate. And when it comes to that couple in particular, I don't think we're going to get lots of drama, but we're going to get lots of learning, which is cool.
Absolutely. And I think their baby's going to be really, really cute, because Ashley has like nieces and nephews, like adorable. And she has those big giant eyes. So I hope their kid has those big boom eyes. I guess Danielle's might have them too. But
next week we should do a special segment on favorite. Which one do we think is going to be the cutest baby?
I got an idea. Woo, okay, so you guys, you have to make sure you tune in next week. You guys, let them know where they can find you on social.
Hey guys, I'm Oliver Drennan. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ollie Dreamer.
And guys, you can follow me on Instagram at Bonjour Juliet.
Bonjour Juliet.
Yeah.
That's literally how I greet you. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find me on social media at It's Felicia Michelle, and we will be back here next week to talk about more Married at First Sight, Happily Ever After. We'll see you guys then.
Don't get pregnant.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.